So, okay. Sasha has taken a seat, so we can start, I think. Any suggestion what this is?
A picture?
Right.
Desert.
June Desert.
June 65.
Maybe that.
A dead man's walk.
What's the main problem about the desert?
Too much sun.
Water. Water. It's very dry, of course.
Oh.
And this session will become very dry. So if you want to avoid dehydration, this is the right moment to pick up a coffee or a beer. If not, please stay. Topic of our session is XenServer Cli, the command line interface, the other way. That implicits that there are several ways you might know. What I'd like to show you is going another way. Who am I? My name is Roy Textor. I'm doing Citrix since 1997, of course. Yeah, about 15 years. Product in former times it's called WinFrame. Anybody knows this one? Yes. WinFrame. Oh yeah. I got all these CC something certifications. Working as a CTO at Zimmer & Lange. Zimmer & Lange is Citrix Platinum partner, located in Kassel in Germany. Our main focus is on healthcare and government. Anybody knows where Kassel is located? Yeah, of course, my colleague. Here we are. We are in North Hamburg, and Kassel is, I call it, in the heart of Germany. Not only in the center, but in the heart of Germany. At first, before we talk about the CLI, I want to tell you something about the new version of XenServer. I call it XenServer.x because some of these features I want to tell you about are there since the version 6.0. And some are new in the very new version 6.1. So these two are from version 6.0. Single CD installation, maybe you know. From the other versions, you get two CDs or two ISOs to install the XenServer from. You have to install from the basic installation, and you were able to install supplemental packs. Now, since version 6, you only got one CD, but you can download additional supplemental packs from your MyCitrix account or some vendor sites. You can use the rolling tool upgrade for installation of XenServer. You have, or for upgrade installations of XenServer, you have to reboot XenServer from an ISO that you have mounted via console or via a physical CD you inserted into the CD drive. You don't need this anymore with a rolling tool upgrade. The only thing you need is a store where these upgrade files are located. This can be an HTTP or an FTP or an NFS store, and you point your Xen Center to this store and say, okay, upgrade my pool. And this rolling pool upgrades migrates all your VMs to other hosts into the pool, upgrades your master server at first, reboots them, migrates the VMs back to the master server, and then continues with the second one. And it really works.
Kind of. Sometimes there is a little.
Yeah.
There is a little bug in the 6.1.
Yes.
So this is really interesting. The first thing you have to install the Xen Center because
that's equal to all these versions.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is the little bug is normally you should start with the pool master, and it tells you start with the pool master. Then it tells you start with the pool member.
Okay.
And you screwed up, so what should I update?
So thank you for this comment because at this time I have done no upgrades from 6.1 to 6.0 to 6.1. So keep this in mind before you're running into this issue. Thank you. Okay, let's go on. What do you need to know? We got a new kernel version 4.1.3 servers. The servers the Xen tools are running on is now named Xen Guest Agent. Some of our customers are monitoring these servers to make sure that the Xen tools are loaded properly and started at the start of the VM. But with the change to this name, they run into the failure that maybe Stone reported, XenTools aren't running on all these VMs. So you have to make sure that your monitoring suite, whatever you are using, are pointing to the right exit file. XenTools. This is very new to XenServer 6.1. There's a complete redesign of the XenTools. So maybe you know about these issues we got with the XenTools in XenServer 6. There are probably some errors called XenNet 6 errors, which may result in blue screens sometimes on server 2008 R2. And so there's a complete redesign of these XenTools. If you originally install these XenTools by mounting this ISO file, or say install XenTools, the install wizard MSI will be loaded and XenTools will be installed. This is the normal way to install these XenTools. But there is an issue when you're using VSS or PBS. So VSS and PBS is not supported with this install wizard.msi because of the new driver model. Then, when you are using VSS or PBS, you have to use the Xen legacy drivers. There are also 6.1 drivers that are working with the former mode. And then you can use VSS and PBS. This is because of PBS, for example, wasn't set up to support these tools because XenServer released this after the last version of PBS. Even the version of PBS 6.2, which was released with the Excalibur and Avalon technology preview on the 1st of November, do not support these install wizard MSI. You have to use these Xen legacy access as well at this installation. Another issue is about iSCSI multipathing, but only if you use software iSCSI and you're pointing to storage which has more than one path. XenServer shows you one path and is only working on one path. But there is an hotfix available for this, and then this will work correctly. And XenServer 6.1 at this time is not certified for any version of Xen Desktop. So if you download 6.1 and upgrade your environment, make sure you're not running Xen Desktop on it. It may work, it may not, but you're out of support with this. If you download XenServer 6.1 from the MyCitrix account, it will show you a notice for those customers which are running Xen Desktop in their environment to use XenServer 6.02, the former version. Okay, some more features. Storage migration, XenMotion, you had seen this, I think, several times since yesterday. VMware supports this. Hyper-V supports it, and XenServer with this version supports it as well. Not only the former XenMotion feature, even the storage migration feature with this shared nothing.
Question?
Yeah.
That means that they support also migration without central storage.
Without what? Yes.
Without central storage.
Yeah, without central storage. You can migrate from local storage to shared storage, from shared storage to whatever you want. From local storage to local storage.
What I mean is, when you have both migration,
yeah.
You can do also the vMotion without central storage in the farm at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sasha, they support now local storage on XenServer.
Yeah. You can do vMotion on local storage.
Yes, but
That was the question. Because you need both. When you have both vMotion plus storage migration, you have this third
two different things: this XenMotion and the storage migration or storage motion option.
Yes, but if you have both, you can do also migration without central storage.
Yeah, of course. From one local store to one local store without downtime. That's what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Even like VA migration, integrated site recovery, LHCP support is included in the 6.1. EvenU is 4 times NIC bonding. What we learned yesterday is that Hyper-V supports up to 32 NICs for teaming. XenServer only supports 4 NICs at this time in an active-active bond. 4 times GPU pass-through is supported, so you can put 4 GPUs in your server and also into your virtual machines. SCVVM support and SCOM support is implemented. So if you want to manage your XenServer pools, your XenServer environments with the System Center Virtual Machine Manager, you can do so. Recommended is using the actual version under Server 2012. Unity Virtual Machine Manager 2012 Service Pack 1 available as beta at this time. I'm not quite sure when the final comes out, but the beta works properly.
In the beginning of January.
January?
January is the release date.
Okay, so wait about 2 months, and then there will be the final version available. SCOM support for this is available at this time, so you can monitor your XenServer with SCOM.
One interesting thing, what is not supported is you can't tag the management interface to a VLAN. What we found out, it's not supported.
There are several things that are not supported if you're managing your XenServer environment with System Center Virtual Machine Manager. This is only a way to include your XenServer environment into this Virtual Machine Manager, to shut down, to reboot some machines, and to make some general configurations in this. If you dive deeper in, you have to use other tools.
Yes, Citrix told me that they're investigating, so they're looking into it, because,
Yeah, of course. The integration of these platforms are very close together. So not only XenServer is manageable by Virtual Machine Manager, you can even integrate VMware into Virtual Machine Manager. So Microsoft grabs them all, so they have all of these virtualization platforms into one GUI, and you can manage them more or less lightly. XS Conversion Manager, XenServer Conversion Manager, a very funny thing, I think. It converts only VMware workloads. So the question is, why do they do not support Hyper-V workloads? Any suggestions?
Because they see Microsoft as a partner and VMware as a...
And VMware not, of course.
No, VMware as the biggest, how to say, challenger, or biggest, how to say, English word for competition. Yes.
Competition, yes.
yes.
So this may be the reason. So with this conversion manager, you can convert batch up to 500, that's what Citrix told us, up to 500 VMware VMs in a batch mode. What is not supported is converting VMs with domain controller workload. So do not convert domain controllers with the conversion manager. But try in your testing environments with VMware workloads of all kinds. Not supported is VMware version vSphere 5.1 at this moment, I think. VM protection and recovery is included since beginning of the year in version 6. NFS support for HA, even some XenServer improvements are there available at this time. Cloud enhancement, of course, Citrix defines XenServer as their platform for their cloud environments. And we have support for Windows 8 and Server 2012, but only experimental. That means if you're running workloads like this on XenServer 6.1, you will get no support for this. Maybe best effort support, or if you know them very well, they will help you to support them, to support these systems, but there's no official support of these products. But they are running well, I can show you later. The known ways. Which ways do you know to manage XenServer environments?
XenServer.
CLI. What else? Pardon me?
STDM.
Yeah. Anything else? No? Anyone knows this one? No. Silence. This is an iOS app. It's called HiOps. It's for free. And you can manage XenServer environments with this for free. With your iPad or your iPhone or every other device you get. You see here some machines listed with loads.
It's native app or it's backend for something?
Right, I have this app on my system, so it's a native app.
Yeah, cool. Because it's running on the iPad, so it's a native app, yeah.
It could be also some, you have web interface of some kind and then go.
Oh, no. It's a native app. Yeah, it's a native app. Okay. Another app I use sometimes is this one. It's called XenLite. It's only available for the iPhone, but it works on the iPad. You see this here, it's one time. It's designed for iPhone. Nearly same functionality as the other one. It's a little bit faster. The HiOps I show you first is sometimes a little bit slow. But you can define and work with it as well. This is the one I showed you before. STVVM. VMM, the System Center Virtual Machine Manager, running on a server 2012. Hope you can see there. Here are some XenServers included into this. And what you told me, of course, XenCenter. This is the main application to manage XenServer environments. No, I don't drink alcohol. Thank you. But if you can get me a non-alcoholic beer, Alex? No?
What?
Maybe you can get me a non-alcoholic beer.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, this is XenCenter. This is a single pool. There's a single server only. This is my testing environment at home. Only to show how this looks like. Who knows XenCenter? Who's working with XenServer already? Some of you guys. The other guys? Never seen XenServer? Never worked with it? Never tried it? No? Okay, feel free to do so. Included in XenServer is this one. This is the console. If you click here on XenServer and the console, you will have this as a landing page. This is a very little tool, little console for configuring some more options into XenServer. And what you see here is a position called quit. And when you go there, then you see this. This is a console. This is a text-based console. This is the command line where you're landing. You can even use a terminal program like PuTTY, something like this, to connect to XenServer over port 22 and make a connection and use these ones.
Interestingly, this is done by VNC.
Yeah.
And shortly, I've seen a full disclosure security patch.
Yeah.
Because there is a bug, so you can steal the VNC, this console, and they fixed it right now. So this was a security patch.
Yeah. This is the second one that comes out for 6.1.
Yeah.
You mean, yeah. Since yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago because of this posting in full disclosure.
Yeah.
And interestingly, this bug was first discovered, I think, in April or something. So this is really rather bad, I think.
It took a little time to implement this. Yeah. Okay. Yes, this is a VNC connection. In former times, we have several problems with XenServer if you install VNC server into a virtual machine. So there are some disruptions of connections to the console or to the virtual machine if you use this. So please be aware to install a VNC server into virtual machines when running XenServer. They all using port 5900. Even this connection uses this, and to avoid these complications, please don't do this. Okay. So what to do when you're landing on this site, when you're landing at the command line? What can you do?
You can
Everything. That's the right answer. Everything. You can do everything. And the command line is the only thing which you can do everything with. There are options in XenCenter, there are options that you don't find in XenCenter. Some configurations can only be made by command line. So if you're really interested in this and you want to dive deeper into XenServer, you have to use the command line. And don't be aware of these features and all these sets what are available. There aren't as much as in PowerShell. Command line interface in general. All these command line all these command line commands are XenServer specific.
I have heard if you drink 3 non-alcoholic, it's actually affected 1 normal bottle.
Oh. Yeah, I took his clone one and he. I'm not quite sure.
Sasha, he wants an alcohol.
No, I don't. I like beer at all. Can we have a Coke?
Not quite sure if I want to be shown on the video with a beer in the hand. Okay. Stop.
Alcohol. You must say alcohol.
I can show this to the camera. Okay, it's alcohol free. Okay, these sets are all XenServer specific. So if you want to try this on another Linux environment, this won't work. All these commands begin with XE. So some people say it's called Xen, short form of Xen. Others say it's Xen Enterprise. But all commands start with XE. So these XenServer command line guys are always talking about XE commands. Yeah. Then they mean this one. Does anybody know how many XE commands are available?
A lot.
A lot. 305. Okay, a little more. You can win a prize if you suggest the right number. More than 305.
536.
Less.
437.
How much? Less.
350.
How much?
350.
350? More.
400.
400?
Yeah.
More.
405.
405? More.
410.
More.
420.
Guys, just watch out, you might win a
What was the
non-alcoholic
last
beer.
number? 420? Less?
17.
No.
415.
18.
16. 17.
19.
Hey, well, where was 19? Hey, you win the prize.
No, I don't like wood.
He has a big prize. I must say.
You get a XenServer 6.1 ISO.
Surprise. Surprise. So this is the only one I have. You're a real virtual ninja.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. 419 commands are available. These are 10 more commands than in the last versions. 10 more commands depend on the new features we have. New features like the storage migration, for example. 419 commands. These commands you can divide into groups. And the beginning of the command shows you what the command should do, or on which part of XenServer the command is working. The pool dash command is something doing with the pool, with the whole pool, with the XenServer pool, of course. An SR command for storage repository is doing something with a storage repository. And a VM command is doing with a virtual machine. So by naming these commands, you can see what they are doing with you, not with you, with XenServer, maybe with you. Parameters. Parameters are depending on the function. So you have a C command, you have to command what you are doing with it, and then you gave the command some parameters. Parameters showing you what you are setting to, what you will do with your virtual machine, with your pool, with your repositories, your PIFs, your WIFs, and so on. And there are some arguments. This one is the beloved argument of my boss. -- force and -- multiple. -- force is something you might know from XenServer. There's a red button called force shutdown for a machine. And behind this force shutdown button is nothing else than the -- force command. So it forces the virtual machine, for example, to shut down. /multiple works on all VMs on the pool or on the XenServer. So you don't have to select a single VM, for example, or a single host. It works on all. So if you run a command like VM shutdown //for//multiple, you have to make sure that there's an escape lane from your data center to run away. Often used commands: host, network, pool, SR, VDI, VM, only to list something. And I think I have to speed up a little. The syntax for this command is very easy. And the most important keystroke you have to use is the tab key, because tab key completes your commands. I can show you in a demo right now. If you use the tab key and you type VM-tab, it shows you all commands beginning with VM, and you can have a list, you can see a list of them, and choose the right one. So, I think I'm going to show you a little bit more here. This is the XenServer environment you know from the screenshot from some slides before. And if I'm going here to my XenServer, I'm on this console. The last command I tried was XEVM reboot. VM is equals and then the host name of the VM. I can also use a unique UUID for these virtual machine command, for example. These UUIDs are unique to everything into a XenServer environment. So the pool has an ID, the XenServer host has a VM ID, and even with hardware components like these PIVs or WIFs or something like this, everything has their own UUID, and they are unique. So you can make sure that when you rename a virtual machine in XenCenter, your UID stays consistent.
But I assume when you said the host has a UID, you only can use the UID of the host on which the console is running you are using at the moment. Or can you select a remote host now?
I can select a remote host. There's also these, I will show you this in a minute. There's also these exe commands available, for example, under Windows. And you can log into another host which is running wherever you want to run this. Okay, if I just start this, you see this virtual machine is getting yellow. That means there's an operation running, and this machine will be rebooted. So let's go here and see what it does. Here it comes up, and the machine is rebooting, just with this single command. While it's rebooting, I can show you some other things. Another simple command, VM shutdown, VM something, whatever you can imagine is able to do with this command line. What I told you a few minutes ago was that not every configuration can be made with XenServer, with XenCenter. You have to use command line. For example, VM configurations depending on virtual CPU cores for virtual machines. What do you do when you configure, for example, your VDIs? How many cores do you give them? How many CPUs? Two, or 1, 2, 3, or more maybe? On what depends how much cores you will give them? Pardon me?
It depends on your host system. So you should be careful, because the problem is if you give them too many and the host system runs out of this, because it's you could be, because your host will then freeze.
Yeah.
Because it's the DOM0. So the DOM0, there is a tweak out where you can tweak the DOM0 that the DOM0 uses more, but you know that's a bit experimental.
Yeah. Also, DOM0 can use up to 4 cores at this time. And if you overcommit too much of these CPUs or cores, you will give the virtual machine, you can run it into this lag, so that there are not enough resources for XenServer DOM0.
What is really interesting is that it's up to Microsoft licensing. So Microsoft licensing, let's say Server 2012, are licensed via core, and with this tweak you can.
They are not licensed by core. They are licensed by physical
sockets and air sockets, not cores. And with this tweak, you can give them, or let's say, DOM0 reports them the socket.
Yeah.
That you are correct with the licensing.
Great. That's what I want to hear. If you are going by XenServer and you give your virtual machines, for example, 8 cores, and you boot up your machine, you can see this in this machine which is booting it right now. If you give them too much too much CPUs, it starts up. It shows you maybe 8 CPUs in XenServer because you configured this VM with 8 CPUs. But the Windows 8, for example, can use how many CPUs? How many physical CPUs? Only 2. Can use only 2 CPUs. But it can use many cores. So you have to configure this virtual machine to use a maximum of 2 CPUs, but included in these CPUs, if you have a quad-core, for example, you can use 4 cores. And what you can configure in XenServer is only the number of CPUs, not the cores.
That's even not only Windows. So if you think about, let's say, what is also supported in the 6.1 is some kind of Oracle Solaris or what was the other thing? CentOS. And if you're running an Oracle database on it, it's also from licensing that it uses sockets.
Yeah.
So this should be interesting if you deal with Unix, that you have to report the real socket,
of course,
to the system.
So let's have a look at this machine. So as you can see here, it really has rebooted, and if I click on the performance tab, you can see 2 CPUs are configured and 2 CPUs will be available at this time. Now, I'm going here and shut down this machine. To clear this. And when it's offline, I can go into properties, CPU, and for this environment, I can give them, for example, these 8 CPUs. So what will happen if I start this machine? It comes up, and it shows you here that the machine is configured with 8 CPUs. And if you don't know what it is before, you think, okay, great, this one will run on these 8 CPUs. So let's give them a minute to boot up, and I will show you that there are 8 CPUs configured, but the machine will only run on the first CPUs, first 2 CPUs. Incoming email from my wife.
Where are you?
Please don't tell her. Okay, since this is rebooting.
She watched the video and said, he's really here.
Okay, since this is rebooting this, I can show you a command how to configure CPUs and cores and say something about them. This seems very crappy at this time, but if you take a closer look, it's not so complicated. XE, you know, VM param set. So I set some parameters into a VM. What I say first, what is the platform I'm working on? As I told, I got a quad-core CPU, so I tell this virtual machine you are running on a platform with cores per socket 4. vCPU's max is 8. This tells the machine that I've got 2 of these quad cores. One quad core, one processor has 4 cores, and maximum is 8. I have to, so I have, of course, 2 sockets. How many CPUs the machine should use at startup? 8. Use them all. Means this. Use 2 sockets with 4 cores. Some other parameters. vCPU pairs weight, 4096. You can define a weight of the CPU cycles it's using on your host you're running. This is a logarithmic, what's it called? A logarithm-based configuration. And you can even use this by using the slider you had seen in the screen before. This is very interesting. I need a little time to understand what this capacity means. Capacity of 600 means please use only 75% of the CPU load I told you you have. That means 8 CPUs, and you please use only. Let's start honest. One CPU has a load of 100%, and when 600% is reached, so there are 6 cores of these 8 cores with 100% load. And if you see this over all these 8 cores, you got a load of 75%. And then you trigger this with UID blah 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 for this virtual machine. If you set this, then you can use these 8 cores on these 2 sockets.
But it's not included in the free edition of XenServer.
This is included.
Of course it is included.
From 6.1.
Yeah.
With the older edition, it was not included. First, with the advanced edition of XenServer.
What was not included?
The cost per socket feature.
Even from command line.
Yeah.
I think so. It was included. Helmut, what do you think?
I'm not really sure, but I think too that this was included because it's
with 5.6 it was not included.
You have not free
version.
version.
You have to buy the advanced edition of XenServer to use it. It's also not also not included.
Which edition you have on your 11?
This is the 601.
But which enterprise?
Of course, Platinum. How? Question.
Platinum Plus.
Platinum Plus Plus. Super duper Platinum Plus Plus. Okay. Console. Performance tab. So what you see here, these tabs show you these 2 CPUs, and if I click on this CPU, the lines at the bottom where we highlighted, that shows you that these CPUs were in use. And if I log on to okay, this is Windows 8. Windows 8 desktop and blah blah app. It's interesting, on Windows 8 you can start some apps as an administrator. And if you go to Task Manager, and open the resource monitor, so it only shows you these 2 CPUs. Here, CPU 0 and CPU 1. Okay, but what we want to have is the one running with these 8 cores and 8 CPUs. Okay. Once again, the virtual machine is shut down. I just copy and paste this command here, and it will be set. And I'm not shut down my XenServer. No, I will start this virtual machine. And then it comes up. So we give it a minute, and then we'll have a look at the resource monitor, what this will show us. Some other commands, for example, only if you want to export or import some virtual machines, you can use these command line features by backward import or export these machines. There's a mounting path defined where to set this virtual machine. Compress equals true means compress the workload which is exported, and the VM that is exported is named at the end. And if you can import this exported workload to a defined storage repository if you name it by its UID. So if you want to export for backup purposes some more virtual machines, you can put them in a batch file, for example. Or you can do one job on your XenServer to export them at time. PIV configure. If you're using, for example, a software iSCSI environment or hardware iSCSI environment, you have to configure IP addresses for your adapters to connect to your storage network. You can do this by XenServer, of course, or you can do this with these commands. The PIV reconfigure IP with the UUID of this NIC. Mode is static, so it gives you a static IP address with gateway IP address, netmask, DNS, and so on. Commands on XenServer looking like this. Only the exe command. VM start. Name of the VM. This command at the end means start this VM at a special XenServer in my pool. The same one on Windows looks like this. So if you install XenServer, you automatically install this exe file with you. And you can run all these commands you are running in your Linux XenServer environment on your Windows machine. And you can run them remote. The only thing you have to do, you have to log on to your pool master, the server you want to give the command. -f defines the server. This is the IP address, root, password, and then on XenServer means the same as in the line above. So you can put this one, for example, in in a cron job for XenServer or in a task planner, for example, in Windows to export machines, to reboot them, or something like this.
Question.
Yeah.
So is this actually doing a SSH connection in the background and executing the
It executes the command on the server. Right?
So you need port 22?
Yeah, yeah. So let's have a look. Our Windows 8 machine is up and running. And if I'm connecting to this one, you may see in the performance tab right here, it's using all these CPUs I've defined before. When I set these CPUs via XenServer, they always only used 2 CPUs, and at this time it will use all these CPUs I've defined. Task manager. Resource monitor. Size. Here they are. Okay? Some PDFs I want to show you that are helpful if you're planning to dive deeper in with XenServer commands. One is this. Yes. You know? Somebody said yes. Okay, a complete list of all XenServer 6.0 at this time commands, a complete command reference that you can print out, put on your wall, and you can have a look at this. Another one is this one. This is a complete commandlet of SDK for PowerShell.
Does this mean you can use PowerShell commandlets to do the exact same thing, and you actually get structured data back?
Yeah, okay. You can use these commands. I talked to Andreas Roth yesterday, and he told me there's some commands that aren't included in PowerShell. They are only available at these exe command line tabs, but most of them are. This is very nice. This is depending on the actual version 6.1, and you got listed, for example, all these ports which are used to communicate with XenServer and all these environmental features you need in the
What do you need to execute the PowerShell commands? What package do you need to install on your box, on the Windows box?
There's a special SDK for these PowerShell commands. You can download this.
Dedicated download? Yeah,
at the MyCitrix. So, one last thing.
One more question about the SDK. Is this actually redistributable?
The SDK?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I think so, but I'm not quite sure.
If you include it in another product or whatever, can you distribute the SDK assemblies with your product?
Does anybody know? I'm not quite sure.
Yes, you can.
You can?
Definitely, yeah. But there is actually a bug what we found out, and if you use the SDK, there is a bug that the API loads the whole thing into memory. You can't just use one commando, it loads all. So we have a call with Citrix because that makes no sense.
Machine.
Yeah, It loads the whole stack,
Okay.
and we tried to separate, but Citrix said, okay, that's a bug.
Okay. Hopefully fixed.
So, we talked so much about this Windows 8 machine and all these configurations we've done with them, that I want to show you how it looks like if you're connecting via ICA protocol. Really new, 2 days old, Project Excalibur Avalon, our virtual desktop running on XenServer 6.01 with this new feature, just 2 days old within Windows 8. Yeah. Okay, these are the PDFs. Any more questions or like to discuss about these command line features?
One last one. I found a nice book. It's in the Citrix forums, because what drove me nuts is that NTP was not functioning, and the reason behind this was a really huge box. It was an HP, but I think 10 network interface cards. So there is a bug, because it enumerates at boot time every NIC.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the NTP daemon will fail, because it starts at the right time as the NIC enumeration takes place. This is a really problem, because it can't reach the NTP.
Okay,
and then
it
fails
up before the NTP starts.
Yeah, that was put me some headaches. So why does this fail? And what I did, so a little hack. So I put it the NTP daemon at start time at etc, rc5.d or something, and put it with S99 at really last startup.
Okay.
So to ensure that the whole stuff loads, and then it was
restart the NTP later.
It took me 2 days hardcore debugging mask or something to find this, and it's also in 6.1. So be careful if you deal with.
I did some of these workarounds in the RC local, for example, to restart some other daemons when XenServer starts up. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions to this? Seems to be not. So, further information, feel free to contact me on all these social network platforms or by email or whatever you want. It's really simple to find me, because there aren't many people with this name on the net available. Just type in the name in Google and you will find me. And if that's all, it's all for me. Thank you.